Right now, Reddit and X are absolutely blowing up over some pretty wild leaks about Google's Gemini Omni. And this is all happening just days before the May 19th, 2026 Google I/O event. Welcome back to AI Verdict, where we do the research so you don't have to. I'm so glad you're here for this explainer because today we're cutting through all that noise to break down what's actually happening. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's just jump right in.
So here's the crazy part. Take a look at this quote from 9 to 5 Google. It's practically our only source of truth right now. I mean, think about it. There's no official model card, no API docs, not even a hidden Google webpage. Literally, it's just a name that mysteriously popped up inside the Gemini app UI. But leak or no leak, I'm going to show you exactly why this is secretly the most important AI story of the entire year. All right. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll tackle the hype versus the reality. Then we'll break down Google's 4-layer architecture, look at some real-world demos and benchmarks, dive into the always-on privacy risks, and finally, we'll see how this completely redefines the AI race. Let's go. Section 1. The hype versus reality. Let's unpack the new model myth. You know how the internet gets, right? It's doing what it does best, running way ahead of the actual fact. Everyone is scrambling, looking for this brand new, magical AI brain. But actually, the reality is that Gemini Omni is almost certainly a massive unification play. Google has been quietly building these tools for over 2 years now. Just look at this timeline. Early 2024, we got Gemini 1.3 with long context. May 2024, Project Astra showed us real-time camera and voice. Then, late 2024 brought Gemini 2.0 Flash for native multimodal outputs. Add in Gemini Live and Veo 3 for video generation in 2025, and, well, you start to see the picture. Omni isn't some completely new invention. It's Google putting all these existing puzzle pieces under one roof to build a true universal assistant for your Android phone, Chrome, your TV, your car, and even XR glasses. Moving on to Section 2, the 4-layer architecture. Let's take a look inside Google's tech stack. Okay, you'll definitely want to lock this slide into your memory because understanding Google's specific technical system completely changes the competitive picture. Here's their 4-layer stack in plain English. First up, the reasoning layer. This is powered by Gemini 3.1 Pro and the 2.5 line. Basically, it's your heavy lifter for complex coding and massive documents. Next is the fast layer, utilizing Flash and Flashlight for your quicker, cheaper, everyday workloads. Then we have the live layer, which is Gemini 3.1 Flash Live handling real-time voice and vision streamed over WebSockets. And finally, and this is a big one, the on-device layer. Gemini Nano runs locally, directly on your phone, completely without a network connection. That means ultra-low latency and maximum privacy. So, what does this all mean for us? Well, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that when you take those 4 distinct layers and then seamlessly route generation tools like Veo for video and Imagen for images through a single user interface, boom. That is the true definition of the Gemini Omni system. It's not just a standalone model. It's an entire ecosystem seamlessly working together. Which brings us to Section 3, real demos and benchmarks. Because hey, the proof is already here. Now you might be wondering, okay, but does this actually work right now? And the wild thing is, developers and regular users don't even need to wait for I/O to see the system in action. The pieces are already live. Just look at what you can already do. You can point your camera to identify objects locally. Project Astra has already shown off cross-device memory and prototype smart glasses. Veo 3 is generating cinematic video, complete with native dialogue right there in the Gemini app. And for the developers out there, the Live API is currently handling 70 languages, function calling, and mid-sentence interruptions. Plus, pay special attention to client-side ephemeral tokens. That right there proves Google is laser-focused on real, secure production deployment, not just flashy stage theater. But let's be real, is the AI actually good? Well, when you look at the raw data, there is absolutely no doubt. I mean, look at this. Gemini 3.1 Pro posted a massive 2,887 ELO score on Live Code Bench Pro. When you combine that with a 77.1% on ARC-AGI-2 and a really solid 44.4% on Humanity's Last Exam without tools, the numbers prove it firmly sits in the frontier tier. It is going toe-to-toe with the heavyweights like Sonnet 4.6 and GPT 5.2. And if we want to neutralize the AI rivalries for a second and just look purely at factual accuracy from DeepMind's own benchmark, the results are super interesting. On this simple QA verified test, Gemini 2.5 Pro hit a 55.6 F1 score. That actually beat out GPT 5.2 and GPT 4o, making it the most accurate tested model for short-form factual questions. The data really speaks for itself here when it comes to short-form facts. However, Actually, let's ground ourselves for a second here. Factuality still heavily depends on your prompt and the system's grounding. The hallucination problem is definitely not 100% solved yet. For instance, your incredibly advanced real-time Omni Assistant might still look at your kitchen counter and confidently tell you to slice up an avocado for your morning cereal because it genuinely thinks it's a banana. It's just a good reminder to stay realistic about where the tech currently stands.
Section 4. Always-on privacy risks. Let's discuss the ethics of a ubiquitous system.
This shift brings us to a much more serious conversation. Because an Omni Assistant isn't just a chatbot in a browser window anymore, it's an always-on system that sees, hears, and takes actions across all your devices. Picture this. You're just sitting at a coffee shop, and someone next to you is wearing always-on smart glasses. The system is constantly recording and analyzing the world around it. That has a massive impact on non-consenting bystanders. Plus, there are deep risks of manipulation and over-reliance on these systems. To their credit, DeepMinds is actively tracking these exact social effects through their Frontier Safety Framework. But it's a huge, huge hurdle to manage at a global scale. And when it comes to your actual data, the privacy story is really nuanced. You see, on one side, workspace and cloud data have zero retention options and absolutely aren't used for training. But on the consumer side, your Gemini activity can be retained for up to 3 years, depending on your category and whether you're on a free or paid tier. So, my advice? Please don't flatten the privacy debate into one simple yes or no answer. Always check your exact service in your specific plan settings.
Section 5. Redefining the AI race. We need to talk about the strategy of distribution.
Okay, so how does this fit into the broader competitive tech landscape? Because honestly, that's the real strategic implication here. Let's look at the board impartially. OpenAI obviously has this massive consumer brand presence with 900 million weekly users. Anthropic is completely dominating enterprise and agentic coding with a $30 billion run rate, though Google is aggressively coming for them via cloud and the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. Then you have Meta fighting a totally different philosophical battle with open weights like Llama 4 and their massive social distribution. But look at Google's core strength at the bottom. Billions of devices. Google doesn't need to beg you to download a new app. They already own the distribution hardware. They are natively integrating this across Android, Chrome, your TV, and your car. And that right there creates a brutal reality for the rest of the market, especially startups. We are officially entering what I like to call the startup squeeze. Basic AI wrapper apps are going to struggle hard. Think about it. When voice, vision, memory, and generation become deeply integrated native features on the operating systems you use every single day, the bar for building a defensible, standalone AI product gets dramatically higher.
Which leaves us with this final, truly provocative thought. As AI fundamentally shifts from being just an app you actively open to the invisible infrastructure you literally live inside, who will ultimately own the everyday layer of your intelligence? It's a wild thing to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I hope this breakdown made learning about the reality of Gemini Omni both efficient and fascinating. See you next time.